Hello everyone, and welcome back to Apocalypse in Depth, the series that already has its own bunker stocked with exclusively ramen, candy, and soda. It's not just a phase, Mom. It's the post-apocalypse. This show is your survival guide to the after times, which we may or may not be living in right now, making this a very timely series. You're welcome. Now, Gummy Worms. These squishy worm-shaped gummies are the secret to surviving.
Insert cataclysmic event here.
Throw away all those other things you have in your apocalypse bunker because you don't need them. Only keep the gummy worms. They're your only friends now. Everyone knows what gummy worms are, right? They're all gummy and no worm, and they're here to save us from the hubris of our ancestors and its perpetuation by our short-sighted decisions. To figure out if gummy worms have any actual worm inside, I dissected at least 6 of them. So far, I haven't found any worms inside their gummy doppelgangers. All those insect parts you've heard about being in processed foods is the closest you'll get. And now I have a lot of insect parts. Send help. They've started to move by themselves. First, I'm going to identify the most important life needs. For this, I'll be using Maslow's hierarchy of needs for basic stuff, and an updated version because Maslow's model is ancient and missing a lot. This also hinges on the assumption that we'll still be human by the time the end of the world happens instead of our true forms, misshapen axolotls. Accept your destiny, humans. Reject humanity. Return to axolot. I'm going to make this assumption because it's easier than time travel and this show doesn't have the budget for temporal distortion. This one comes first, probably because I'm hungry. You guessed it, it's food! Food is important, and it also tastes good. Unless it's eggplant, in which case that accursed excuse for a vegetable should be thrown into a black hole and spaghettified. Anyway, food is a thing. We consume it to steal its nutrients to power our decaying bodies for a short time before what's left of it comes back out and feeds the fungi that will consume us after our mortal forms are claimed by the sky jellyfish. When you think gummy worms, you think food. And you are absolutely right. Despite having no nutritional value whatsoever, they can theoretically feed you forever. Until the actual worms eat you. Next, we have shelter. Now, I'm recording this from a decommissioned missile silo built during the Cold War, so I don't need this advice. However, for those of you who didn't plan ahead and are panicking in the streets because the nuclear clouds dissolved your house, and/or your cheap underground bunker that you bought off Amazon turned out to be made of lasagna and you're regretting your life choices, I have a shelter solution for you. Presenting the Gummy Worm Dwelling. Based on these instructions I made while distractedly listening to horror podcasts, all you have to do is buy enough gummy worms to asphyxiate your town and weave them together in a pattern that both keeps fallout outside and air inside. Also, you need some superglue. I probably should have mentioned that first. Oops. For any of you that tried this without the superglue, please don't sue me. Please. Mental health. Turns out that you actually need a decent amount of it to keep the shreds of sanity left in your fractured psyche from irreparably self-destructing and plunging you into the nightmare dimension. You're gonna get real lonely in this darkness box unless you have something to keep you sane and grounded in this universe. Have you considered gummy worms? They kinda look like worms, which will remind you of the animals that used to inhabit the barren wasteland once known as Earth, that's referred to by passing aliens as failed experiment 46H-7. Studies show that being in nature helps keep you healthy, so remembering that Earth was once filled with vibrant life and is now a dead rock killed by humanity's hubris will... Oh! Wow. Maybe that won't help. Moving on. You can talk to the worms. If you become divorced enough from reality, maybe they'll talk back, which will force you to remember the last normal day of your life. And... yikes. Okay, now definitely moving on. How about sleep? Sleep never hurt anyone. Now, according to this team of doctors that's been keeping me under close observation since I was born because of the voices, sleep is important to maintain both mental and physical health. Even though you can no longer see the passing of day or night, you still need a decent sleep schedule. apparently. And don't worry, Gummy Worms can help with this too. Simply go outside, grab the most intact corpse you can find, and shove Gummy Worms into it until the skin is firm. Then sleep on it, because this is the closest you'll ever get to companionship. Alternatively, you can weave a pillow and sheets out of Gummy Worms for maximum comfort. If you're feeling really creative, you can even make a sleep mask. You know, to keep your sleep on schedule with no outside light. Wow, this post-apocalypse really sucks. Suddenly, being suffocated by a sleep mask made out of Gummy Worms doesn't sound terrible. Also, exercise. Since you're gonna be stuck in the bunker forever, you might as well try to make do with what you have when it comes time to keep yourself in shape. Normal above-ground activities like running and swimming are impossible, so why not try outlining your body with Gummy Worms and astrally projecting somewhere to make your space form do the exercise for you. You can also fashion weights out of Gummy Worms if you're bad at astral projection, or stick a Gummy Worm to the wall and stare at it until your body wastes away and you become an ashen husk of your former self. What would they say if they could see you now? Are they still out there? Will they ever forgive you for causing— Wait. Hold a second. You did this? Are you kidding me? You caused this calamity to happen. Who even are you, and why have I been giving you this information? More to the point, where did you get all these Gummy Worms? Are you part of them? Did the doctors send you? How much do you know about me? Is that a night—
This has been Confusing Questions, and I've been ReynaduNoctis, currently perceiving the void. Like and subscribe if you want more jokes, don't subscribe if you're afraid of the truth, and maybe that lasagna bunker wasn't such a bad idea. In my next video, I'll explore the question of whether glass marbles actually contain universes. I'll see you next time.